Hey, everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George N. Touliatis and brought to you by his book, The Bible of Bodybuilding, available on Amazon.com. Everything you need to know about training, nutrition, supplementation, and PED use. And if you're on Amazon buying books, go ahead and pick up Real Bodybuilding by Ron Harris, another amazing book. Now, all the way from Athens, Greece, please welcome Dr. George Touliatis. Hey, George.
Hello, Ron. We have this special occasion now on Friday night because tomorrow is the France Open. The France Pro.
Yeah, that'll be done by the time we talk about this. We'll have a new winner, but also we're doing this early because you got a special invitation in Birmingham from, was it Rudy Panata of Panata Equipment to go to Italy?
Exactly. So Rudy Panata, his secretary texted me on Instagram. I think it was a month ago. She told me that they're willing to meet me in Birmingham and speak about some details, and about seminars, having seminars in Italy. Rudy Panata is a fan of me. I'm flattered for this. He has all of my books, the English and the Italian books. And he's a fan of bodybuilding. He told me amazing stories about the old era, the golden era. And we sat on the table twice. He introduced me the MPC organizer that she said that Criso will take the card from her show, and then Criso will play in Prague. Okay, so he'll play in Italy. He competed in Italy as an amateur, and then as a pro bodybuilder, have to be pro in Prague.
Wow!
In order to be in Vegas by September, and he's a fan of bodybuilding. But I was really thrilled by the plethora of equipment. I asked him, "Do you have 50 different machines?" He said, 500.
500.
There is a room in Kuwait just for biceps, for arms, another room for chest. For every muscle group, there's another machine. And I told him, how long does it take for you to conceive an idea and make it equipment? It's less than a week. And every day we produce around 5 to 6 equipments, as a production in the industry,
Yeah. Wow.
So he lives in a small village out of Rome called Apiro. He has 500 employees.
Wow.
And he told me that I want to invite you for educating my staff about bodybuilding in seminars, and perhaps we can cooperate about importing Panata in Greece, because there's no longer somebody that imports, the stuff, the equipment. By the way, he has 4 distributors in the USA. Imagine how large he is. There is Panata Russia, there's Panata Middle East, Each country has a distributor. Anyway, he's 72. He's crazy, he's strong. He lifts. I was really impressed. He's dressed nice. And I feel like I was embraced, very comfortable. So by Sunday, I'll be in Apiro. There is a limo that will pick me up.
Nice.
Going to the hotel. I feel like a star, And then we're going to train on Monday and Tuesday. I'm going to leave on Wednesday. And Steve Blackman told me that he supports Panata, and Panata told me give my best regards to Steve. All right. I have to tell you, I dropped 5 pounds while I was in the UK, because I was walking around London and Birmingham.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit leaner, and 198, the leanest I was since March.
Yeah. Are you able to eat on schedule when you go to these things? I always end up missing meals, always.
Yes, of course, but I'm taking some pancakes here, some protein pancakes from the place that I'm going to, Protein House,
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm chewing the stuff in the airport, in the airplane, and at the hotel, because I have only 2 meals at the hotel, breakfast and lunch, dinner, I'm sorry. So yes, I'm really thrilled and excited about going there. It's part of my international dream,
Yeah. Wow. I'm just curious, Greece and Italy aren't that far apart.
They're very close. They're very close.
So do the gyms in Greece have a lot of Panata equipment?
Some of them, they do, yes. Some of them are mostly VIP, houses, or perhaps VIP clubs. And it's a luxury equipment, by the way. It's not something like you can buy it, easily.
Oh, especially if, in the US, there's not a lot of it. It's very expensive to bring over here. And the Redcon gyms in Nashville and Boca Raton, Florida, have the largest collection of Panada equipment outside of Europe, the largest collection in North America, those gyms.
Yeah, and you know, the two massive competitors are the Hammer and the Techno Gym, but I believe Panada is way more sophisticated. The biomechanics and the kinesiology. I mean, it flows really smooth,
Yeah.
and according to the movements, you know, of the body, of the joints.
Yeah. When I did a video training with Kai Green, and we did back at the gym in Boca, the Redcon 1 gym, and we used a pull down machine. We used one of their like a T-bar roll machine. They had some amazing back pieces. I know they have every body.
William Bonacoso is in contract with Panada and Sid Bum and Chris Bumstead.
No, well, they're not in contract with him. It just, you know, when Aaron Singer
Advertising.
when he put together those gyms, he just wanted the best equipment from. He didn't care.
And also Redcon Gym and Aaron Sigerman. Yes, his gym.
Yeah, he's got a ton of Panada stuff because he considers it the best in the world. So I love using it. Let's get to some questions. We got a lot. We always get a lot of questions, but the first question is about everyone's favorite subject. And what's that? Trenbolone. Everyone loves Tren. So first question, doctor, is I normally use 300 milligrams Testosterone as my unauthorized TRT at age 43, meaning he's not doing it with a doctor. It's just himself. In a couple months, I'll be going on a Caribbean cruise for singles, and I want to look my best. I have a few bottles of trenbolone, Masteron, and Winstrol tabs that I'll be stacking for 6 weeks leading up to my vacation. My question is, if I'll be using all three of those compounds, do I still need to keep the test in there? I plan on running 150 milligrams of Tren acetate every other day. Would that be enough to keep my test levels as high as I am used to?
Well, in case you don't use testosterone in this cycle, you're going to suffer from sex drive a couple of weeks later. Besides, if you use the fast-acting testosterone that gets out of the system and it's less likely to aromatize, you're going to harden up and you're going to look your muscles fuller, okay?
Yeah.
So test propionate, Tren acetate, Masteron, which is propionate also, and Winstrol, which is suspension. Yeah, this is a very good cutting stock of injectables for injectables.
So if he doesn't use the test, his sexual performance might suffer, and he's going to go on the.
Yes, so but test also will make him harder and fuller. Okay, so he can use 300 milligrams, let's say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 100 shot, plus, because you want to look dry, at least 2 milligrams of anastrozole per week, because the rest do not aromatize.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, and good luck, sir, on your cruise. I hope you find what you're looking for on that boat. Here we go. Now, next one is it normal to elevate muscle enzyme CK 3 to 4 times upper limit? Top range is 330. I am 800. I'm on 500 tests, 400 NPP. Prior to gear, I was in high range, but not over. I also have bad muscle recovery and can't get a pump or connection to my back muscles anymore. I don't know what that's got to do with anything. I'm worried I'm very catabolic and don't know what to do. So yeah, his muscle enzyme CK is 800. Yeah, is that a bad thing?
Yeah, he's under rhabdomyolysis.
Oh, geez.
And this will affect the glomerulus, but also the liver enzymes.
So what do you do in a situation like that?
What do you do in such a situation? So you hydrate a lot, you stay off. I'm sorry, you stay off 24 hours, 48 hours, from training. You can take a lot of BCAAs and glutamine for muscle recovery, but stay out of any physical,
don't train
stress.
at all.
Yeah, because you need to relax your muscles and fill up your muscle glycogen stores with complex carbs.
Yeah,
and you need at least 2 to 3 days to take good nap in order to recover.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're catabolizing.
Yeah, when somebody says they can't get a pump or anything, usually it's dehydration, and a lot of times they're just
and also
overtrained.
muscle depletion. You look flat. You're gonna flex. You have burned off all your muscle glycogen with overtraining. Okay, and also you catabolize, so you look smaller.
Yeah, terrible.
You break down muscle tissue.
Yeah, rhabdomyolysis seems to happen a lot to CrossFitters.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
because the training is just so. People talk crap about it, but it's very hard training. If you ever try it, guys, it is hard. I've tried it. It's ridiculous. Next one. Hello, doctor. How should one calculate one's testosterone intake? Should we consider the actual quantity of the salt or take salt plus ester into account? You say you take 75 milligrams of testosterone a week. Is that with ester or without?
So which particular ester is this?
What is he talking about? Salt. I should have asked them to clarify that before I gave you this question. Salt plus ester? Boy, I don't even know if we can answer this because I don't think the question doesn't make sense to me. I don't think it makes. Do you understand what he's asking?
75 grams of testosterone could be 100 milligrams of testosterone enanthate, perhaps.
Okay.
Because it's a release of the compound, and the ester is about 30%. Well,
okay. Yeah, because he's saying you take 75 milligrams of testosterone a week. That's all you take? I thought you took more than that.
Well, listen, if he's microdosing like a TRT, then he does 25 3 times a week.
Okay.
Okay. So he's into replacement therapy.
Gotcha. Now let's just move on. Sir, do you think 125 milligrams of testosterone enanthate and 100 milligrams of DECA NPP can be run as a lifelong HRT? I get my all heart checkups yearly and blood work monthly. My stats are excellent. I'm 44, lean, athletic, clean diet, and disciplined lifestyle. I take 0.5 milligrams of Arimidex weekly and keep my estrogen in the 60 to 80 range. Would appreciate any advice.
So 100 DECA and?
100, he wants to know, can he stay on 125 test and 100 milligrams DECA a week?
I don't think 100 milligrams of DECA because I was using 35 of DECA all year around. And after 6 months, my HDL dropped and my LDL elevated, even though I was using preventive supplementation. It's up to the diet also, where if you take statins, perhaps your LDL will remain low. But don't be fooled, because nothing can be as accurate like the calcium score. So you may have good lipids, but you may have this plaque that is revealed only under the CT scan coronography.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think a big problem is that a lot of people just rely on blood work, and it's not
exactly, yes.
It doesn't tell the whole story, especially steroid users really need to do all the heart tests they can. Okay, so next question. This is a strange one. I've never heard this. Can steroids on a cycle increase acidity in the stomach and cause acid reflux? Did you ever experience it before Ron or Dr. T went on cycle, and what to do to prevent it?
Well, I remember the pills, they disrupt the intestinal mucosa, and they may call you bloating because they kill the good flora and the intestinal bacteria, Lactobacillus acidophilus.
Yep.
Now about the burping and the acid, the acidity, the reflux of the gastric juice into the lower part of the esophagus, that will lead eventually to Barrett esophagitis, which is like an ulcer in the lower esophagus, you know. You avoid this by using pillow, and you lay about 30 degrees, like those that have left heart failure, because if you go flat, you're going to have more reflux, you know. And I remember a Greek FPV pro that he was going nearly 300 plus pounds during the off season, eating tons of bullshit, you know. And he confessed to me once that he was having this reflux because of the fried potatoes and these donuts, you know, and this croissant and all this pizza that messed up his gastric mucosa and lead to gastritis. So take it easy, because all this junk that you eat will cause you troubles and will mess up your stomach, leading to gastritis. You won't be able then to digest food. Now having this thing, the reflux is so painful, you know, so bitter. Like sometimes we feel the presence of the gastric fluid in the esophagus so bitter, you know, it's acidic, and definitely you won't be able to digest fat food. You're gonna miss meals, and this sucks, of course.
Yeah, I never had that issue, but Prilosec is something a lot of people use for acid reflux. Would that be advisable in a situation like this?
Well, avoid the pills and the capsules, avoid everything, actually. Avoid all kinds of pills, even supplements and vitamins. Take vitamins that are liquid, and if they're capsules, open up the capsules and drink it in a glass of water, of water, or perhaps within a yogurt, you know, open up the capsules and eat it.
What's wrong with the capsules? Why shouldn't we swallow
Because
the
the
capsules?
capsules stick in the gastric mucosa, and they cause sometimes ulcer or gastritis. I expressed this when I was taking 10 capsules with every meal during my preparation. I felt horrible. I was burping, I had a really painful thing in my beneath my sternum, in my stomach. And it sucks a lot because you're not able to relax and enjoy the process of digesting, eat the food. And we know how harsh is the dieting. But anyway, and just stick, of course, to injectables and not orals.
Yeah.
Perhaps take the oral sublingually. This is the only way to bypass the gastric entrance.
Yeah, I take a lot of capsules every day. I'm very lucky I don't have.
Me too. Yes, always, but always with a meal because not on the stomach.
Right. Okay, that's probably what's helped me out then. Next question. Well, first I have to explain what this is because the gentleman, he's in the medical field, but he wanted people to be aware of this. So we're talking about liver adenoma. It's a benign tumor that's very common with women that use birth control, but also common with high use of androgens in men. With women, they don't do anything with these tumors until they get over 5 centimeters. Those are benign. With men, they recommend to take those out any size because they're higher risk for malignancy. So here's the question. I had to preface it with that. How do you recommend managing androgen testosterone use to avoid getting a liver adenoma, the benign but high-risk malignancy tumor, which is usually not detected even with regular liver enzyme lab work, CMP, and can only be detected by an MRI or a liver ultrasound?
Yeah. So the question is how do
you avoid it? I guess, how do you avoid getting this thing, these liver adenomas, these tumors?
Well, obviously stay out of pills, stay out of injectable Winstrol also, which is toxic. And take all year round injectable glutathione, NAC, Li52, and milk thistle limarin and alpha lipoic acid. This is the key.
Yeah.
Don't take any other medications that stress the liver, like paracetamol, and of course, do not drink alcohol.
Yeah, he pointed out to me in a long email that when Dallas McCarver, when they did the autopsy on him, they found a lot of these type of tumors inside his liver.
Yeah. I mean, Thomas revealed that. It was like Andreas Munzer. Well, Munzer had already Pelias hepatis, which is blood-filled cysts.
Yeah.
Some people are dorks and ask me, Doc, if I take injectable glutathione while being on steroids and pills, will that make them pills weaker? So my answer is, so you need a rotten liver for full potency of the drugs? What kind of questions are these?
They want to make sure they're
strongly in a healthy liver. Obviously, you're gonna metabolize and work better as a system.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like anti-estrogens. They sort of decrease the potency of steroids, correct?
Yes, I mean, estrogens favor the bonding of the steroids to the androgen receptor. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked to bodybuilders who won't use them because they don't want to miss any possible gains they make from their steroids. So
yeah. But obviously, then you have aesthetic problems, issues. That's why they get removed the mammary gland.
Yeah, gyno. Yeah. There's a doctor here there's a couple famous ones, but there's one in Massachusetts, Dr. Rick Silverman. He's done gyno surgery on probably 1,000 bodybuilders over the years from New England. I won't even name names, but you know a lot of these names if I said them. So next question. I read an interesting article on androstenediol. That's an old one, being used to treat ARS. I don't even know what ARS is. Just wondering if you know anything about it. Is it used as a PED? Isn't that the old pro-hormone from way back in the
Mark
90s?
McGuire used and Patrick Arnold synthesized in the late 90s.
Okay.
1AD. Or Barry Bonds, I think, was using also.
Yeah, the cream and the clear. So
the cream and the clear is different. Is
different? Okay.
THC, but the 1AD was the notorious pro-hormone in the late 90s by Patrick Arnold. And those pro-hormones, they were back then like what SARMs are, very trendy. That metabolized to steroids also, they can be detected during anti-doping control test. But they do have also the sides of the gyno, let's say, in the suppression of testosterone. So it was something available over the counter because there were sold as supplements.
Yeah.
but they were not, side effect clear.
Right. Is anybody still making it or using it? I haven't heard
I
about it.
think no, not anymore now, because I think they are banned.
I mean, I tried it years ago, 25 years ago. It was a long time ago. Next one is telmisartan. What is telmisartan, first of all?
Telmisartan is a compound that, like the losartan, which is an ARB, which is angiotensin receptor blocker. So it lowers blood pressure, but it also has the side effect of leading to less EPO that favors, it's something beneficial for those that they suffer from erythrocytosis and increased red blood cells. The steroid users and TRT, I'm very prone to erythrocytosis. So I'm using losartan, 50 milligrams every day, all year round now for 2.5 years.
Okay.
And perhaps it helps you postponing the blood donation for a little while,
Oh, okay. So the question is it necessary to run telmisartan while on TRT?
It depends. It depends what your CBC, your hemoglobin, and your hematocrit, but also mind that testosterone, like all steroids, will kick aldosterone that will retain sodium and water as a result. But aldosterone is one of the fundamental ways to increase the blood pressure. Okay. So adactone, for instance, spironolactone blocks aldosterone, and it's a way to lower blood pressure and diurate. But it's up to the labs. It's up to the blood pressure. It's not something yes or no. Depends on the case.
And he also asked at the end, which supplements are necessary to use while on TRT? Are there any
supplements? Where? For sure, DHEA, the hydroepiandrosterone, that supports the adrenals. From perspective of hormones, that's it. That's necessary. Now, about general health, there are tons of supplements you may use for heart, for the liver, for the mind, for the prostate, any kind of prevention.
It's a whole other show. So let's move on. I would like to know, I'm 240 pounds of lean muscle mass, 64 years old. God bless you, sir. Test levels are 460, decent strength. What do you think about me getting back on cycle? I've been off cycle for about 8 years and maintaining what I have. My lab numbers are great. I do cardio 3 days a week, walk on the incline for 20 minutes after my weight training. 64 years old, can he get back on drugs?
We've said that before, even for a 55-year-old guy. Stay the way you are. TRT and HRT are enough. And getting on the cycle will not only stress your organs, but also your joints. You're more prone and vulnerable to injuries. Okay, so I think now you should rely on pure supplementation all year round and the HRT, that's all.
Yeah, I assume he's saying he's able to maintain the muscle mass that he had while he was on cycle, even though he's been on TRT. If that's the case, he's very rare.
Well, good for him, but you don't need to, how are you going to do the super masters? It's crazy.
How big do you want? 240 is big enough. How big do you want to be, sir? I guess, bodybuilders are.
He's 6'3", he's a big guy, but
that's a big
come on, man. Nobody in the 60s is like this.
Yeah, so you should be very grateful and happy, sir, that you still have that kind of muscle mass at 64 years old. You're in the 0.00001% right there. Okay, next one. Someone asked my opinion on needle size gauge to inject Winstrol. He was concerned due to the crystallized particles that he should use a large bore needle. Is 25 gauge feasible? The only Winstrol that I have seen was over 25 years ago from a veterinarian.
Well, Winstrol is way smoother as a solution than the testosterone suspension. It has smaller particles. And if you shake it really abruptly, and well, it's going to have this milky appearance. So they may pass through the insulin syringe and definitely through the larger needles that we stick in the bat. I don't remember the gauge.
Yeah, well, 25 gauge is that's not insulin needle, a 30 gauge. So 25, that's what I use, is 25 gauge.
Yeah.
So I think he's fine. There are no particles in that Winstrol that you're talking about, right?
Now, when I'm shooting in my delts, well, it's bearable. It's bearable with the insulin syringe, but not with the larger one. Then it hurts more,
Yeah. Yeah, but it takes forever to get through that stupid insulin syringe. You'd be there all day.
I'll suck it out with the larger one, and then I use the insulin syringe to inject just 1 ml in my delt.
Yeah, how stupid I was back in the old days? I didn't know that you could swap out the tops of the needles. So I would sit there with the 20.
Some of them, they do not, but you can change it. Yes.
Right. And I didn't know that. So for years, I was sitting there for hours trying to get the stupid oil out of the bottle with that little needle. Oh, God. All right. Our last question. It's not really a question. I think this guy's looking for a blessing, and he's not going to get it from you or me, I don't think. He wanted to know, is this okay? So here's all the drugs he's using. I do 150 milligrams of Deca once a week, equipoise twice a week, 250 on Monday and Thursday, Anadrol, 50 milligram pills every day, 50 milligram D-ball pills every day. Just the days I work out, I do Anadrol. Oh, so now he's saying it's on workout days. He does Anadrol 25 milligrams in the morning and another in the afternoon. Then D-ball pills, one more around 3:30. He's giving us the times. So he's doing 50 milligrams each of 20 of D-ball and Anadrol a day. So that's 100 milligrams. Oh, wait, there's more. I do Superdrol 10 milligrams and Halotestin 10 milligrams just on Monday to Thursday. Shots, I do 250 milligrams of EQ and Primobolan, 250 milligrams, Sustanon, 250 milligrams. And then he goes back to the Deca, 150 milligrams. Then Tren, 200 milligrams on Monday and Wednesday and Friday. I do Sustanon 250 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I can't even keep track of this. I was getting very confused. But
I think this guy is a troll. Don't feed the troll.
Well, let's assume that this is a real question and that's what he's really using. What would you say to this guy? Is it okay?
It's a suicidal attempt.
Yeah, it's a lot of gear. I mean, I asked him and he didn't get back to me. He goes by the name of Billy Guns or something Guns, Pete Gunn. I said, is it okay for what? For your health? Absolutely not. I don't think you would believe that for a second. Is, you know, as much as you want to be in denial, that's a lot of steroids. And I don't think anyone, maybe at the Olympia level, the top pros might need that much.
This sounds like a bulking cycle though, huh?
It's a lot of drugs. I mean,
just bulking and strength cycle, but not cutting.
Yeah. But I mean,
well, you can try all these compounds, but not simultaneously, all of them.
Well, that's just the orals alone. Do you do the Superdrol twice a day?
Anadrol, and yes.
So 3 orals, 50, 50, 60. So it's 110 milligrams of just orals.
70 alkylated all.
Yeah, your liver is not going to be happy. That's all I can say. Your liver is not going to be a happy little liver. It's going to be, he might get those liver adenomas or whatever they're called. Geez. Well, that is all the questions. Guys, if you have questions for the next episode, although I think we're going to do the Isabel interview the next.
Isabel, yes.
But we'll get to questions eventually, guys. Please leave them in the comments below. And any comments you have on the show, please leave them below. We like them. We like to hear feedback. Subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, hit like, share the video to your friends, please. And of course, that little bell in the corner, hit that thing. And Doctor, thank you so much. And I hope you have an excellent trip to the Panada headquarters in Italy. Going to be a good time. Get some pictures, get some videos. Yeah, get some pictures of those machines. I really want to see these cool new machines they have. I love machines. I'm a nerd with that stuff.
Well, as we age, they're more friendly for us. Huh? It's like in the fun fair, huh? We have fun.
Yeah, because it's like I can't do barbell rows, but if I can find a great back rowing machine.
Yeah, there is a machine for bend over barbell rows.
I saw it had a pad here. The Panada makes a really good one. It's got the different grips. Yeah, that's what I use with Kai. Loved it, but I don't get to use that here. Anyway. That is all. Thank you so much, Doctor. And guys, thanks for watching Ask Dr. Testosterone. We'll see you next time. Yeah, buddy.